So going back to that point, which may be a little counterintuitive to whoever's listening to us, the point that you may probably stress the most in that series is you really want to work in sport, you have a passion about working in sport. You don't say exactly like that, but what I feel is almost like advice: don't do it right away, do something different beforehand. Why do you say that exactly?
Yeah, I almost think that a lot of people that want to work in sport put too much pressure on themselves to work in sport straight away. And that's what I certainly did when I was applying for jobs a while back as well. I only wanted to work in sports law firms. I didn't want to think about, other wider ideas, wider sectors, to get expertise and competence and better experience generally. And I think there's a lot of pressure that people put on themselves, especially when they're coming out of uni or within a certain amount of time, to be like, right, well, I need to get a job in sports now. And if I don't get the job in sports now, then I'm a failure. It's not for me. And I'm obviously not good enough for the sector, or the sector doesn't appreciate me. And I can't understand why that's the case or not. And my view, in a way, is hopefully counterintuitive, but actually quite liberating as well, which is, don't worry about the short term, because if ultimately your long-term aim is to work in sport, whatever sport it might be, football, basketball, rugby, tennis, whatever sport it might be, you're in a really strong position, because you already know to a degree what your passion is, what you're interested in investing in, and you effectively then can work through the stages that you need to work through. Because if you want to go into marketing or social media or comms or accountancy or law, whatever the broad range of particular areas in sport that you want to actually concentrate on in time, the great thing is that you need an underlying core skill set. And it's not good enough just to say, I really love sport, and therefore I want to work in sport. It's almost, in my mind, the reverse. It's what area of industry do you want to work in? And then how do you attune those skills into a particular sector like sport? And therefore, what happens as a result is that, let's just say you want to be in a big marketing role in a rights holder for a sports organization. The short term, although you might want to be in that organization straight away, the short term position is, there are tons of marketing agencies out there. There are tons of companies that require marketing executives. Just because that role, ideal role at a junior level, doesn't necessarily arise in the short term, doesn't mean, for whatever reason, timing, economy, the role or skills that you may have at the time, doesn't mean you should forget about working in the sports industry. It's the exact opposite. Go and have experience in other sectors, develop expertise, knowledge, skills, management skills, client management skills, networking abilities, how to build relationships. And all of those skills will be transferable into a role which effectively is the same role, but in sport. And the other bit that also obviously becomes very key is, if you've got that passion for sport, you're constantly reading about it. You're constantly trying to keep up to date with the industry. You're speaking to people about things because you're interested in it. You're engaged. That information becomes stickier, you remember it more, you link things together. So in a way, most people who think, I don't want to work in sport, are already at a distinct advantage. They know what they're passionate about. They know and are happy to invest more time in the process because they're enjoying it. And as a result, you don't need to worry about the short term, because you never know where that path may take you. It could take you one side for 4 or 5 years. For me, I wasn't doing exclusively sports work for 7 or 8 years. But then when I did move into it, and I'm doing it constantly now over the last 7 or 8 years, my previous period of time has held me in fantastic stead.